Tippy time, my damies, Top Cat there and welcome back to the channel. Onslaught sees us facing waves of enemies, and this series takes a look at the best builds we have across each class and element. I'll leave a link at the end of this video for my arc builds, but today we are taking a look at Strand. It has the best tick damage, map suppression across all classes, and mobility up the wazoo. There will be dim links for all my builds in the description below. And at any point, if you dig it, make sure to thumb it, and I would love to know what your favourite Strand weapon is. For my Warlock, I went with the Verity's Brow. Its armor perk is 4th magic. Our weapon final blows with a damage type matching your subclass energy grant death throws. This provides a grenade damage bonus and it grants you grenade energy. When you have death throws and throw a grenade, your nearby allies gain greatly increased grenade regeneration for a short time. This will charge with both Strand weapons in your kinetic slot and in your heavy slot. These stacks last for 10 seconds, we get another kill and it will jump up your grenade damage. This build has heaps of grenade uptime, so I'm going to be using Ashes to Assets to help with my super uptime. This mod may have taken a hit in 7.3.5, but with the amount of grenades we have here, it definitely helps. And it's the exotic Trace the Navigator that allows for this. Its catalyst has a special reload that allows us to fire out a grapple tangle. We can then use this in conjunction with our grapple melee for multiple swings across a 30-second window. But it's a mega gun in its own right, as when we deal sustained damage it severs targets. With the torrents of foes that we face in Onslaught, it ain't that bad that it hurts a little less. On top of that, firing this weapon at an ally grants weapon mail to both you and them. I'm using the Mind Spun Invocation aspect to give us additional functionality to our grapple grenades. Every time, and I do mean every time we impact with our grapple melee, we spawn 3 Threadling eggs. With Thread of Evolution, our Threadlings travel farther and deal additional damage. So now at base we do 110,000 per grapple melee, and with each kill of a Strand weapon, this increases by 20%, maxing out at 220,000. Now Verity's does help with our uptime, but I want to full send down this rabbit hole. Thread of Generation, when we deal damage, we generate grenade energy. Firepower grants us an overpower on grenade kills. This now has a 10-second cooldown on it though, so every second or third thwack will produce. Elemental Charge can charge us through destruction of our grapples, and I've one Kickstarter that returns energy based on our armor charges. With all of this, we'll be swinging like a monkey on a vine. The Weave Walk is both a sword and a shield. We double tap dodge, we slip into the Shadow Realm whenever this monkey feels in danger. This consumes your melee energy by way of a slow drain, but this is rewarded as you are virtually unkillable. With 3 melees to burn, it's a great Houdini, but I would try to only use 1 charge at a time, as each charge will feed you 5 Threadlings perched on your shoulders at max. Luckily for us, we do have 3 of these at our disposal. This build has enough base damage at its fingertips, so I feel very comfortable using double special. The Indebted Kindness is in my opinion the king of Onslaught at the moment, and I've been favouring this circular logic for many reasons. It stacks death throws fast, it's got deep reserves, and is great against tormentors. Feel free to pause here for my mods, but there will be a dim link in the description below. Up next, we move to our Titan, where instead of swinging from the vines, we'll be holstering them up in them. The Ambient Leap's perks, Puppeteer Control, spawns 2 additional projectiles for our Drenger's Lash aspect. We plant a shield and send out a ripple to tie up our enemies in some disco gimp ropes. The Ambient Leap additionally makes these lashes track our targets more aggressively and travel farther. Its tracking is vicious, it looks like a shark fin just cutting through the water. Onslaught has a fair few unstops in it, and not once did I have to worry about them with these kicks on. But one of the biggest draws is that 40% damage resist we get from Woven Mail for 10 seconds when suspending targets. When it comes to weapon choice, use whatever you like. I do think a strand weapon is the best though to take full advantage of our artifact mods. With Threat in mind, when defeating suspended targets, we are granted class ability energy. Whilst this is a shell of its former self, it can still give you back barricades in 10 seconds, so we can chain this endlessly, essentially giving us endless woven mail. This also works when paired with our shackle grenade. I'm using continuity. This increases duration to our suspension, unravel and our sever. We've triple frenzied blade charges. This applies sever to our foes. We've also got threat of warding, so when we pick up an overpower on the floor, 10 seconds of weapon mail. Banner of War is busted. It's like walking around in a mobile well of radiance, and all we need to do is get ourselves a melee finisher sword kill to activate. It does get to times 2 healing fairly fast, but requires some more heavy slayerage to get you to times 4. But with a max up time of 30 seconds, getting refreshes on each kill, it's pretty hard to destroy a Strand Titan even at wave 50. The Blade Fury is an amazing super to pretty much every boss Onslaught throws at you. You can go toe to toe without any fear of death. The only exception being perhaps that damn Shrieker that'll just beam you down and I can't slap him back. I also like Threat of Binding. Super Final Blows emit a suspending blast from a target. This way our super is just as effective chopping through hordes as it is against an ogre's veiny parts. I'm using the Strand Trinity in the artifact. Feel free to pause here for all my mods or check out the dim link down below. For my hunter, my initial build didn't pan out. As it turns out, our helpful turrets no lucky me shadow clone jutsu. So I changed gears. I'm using the grapple melee again, and we're going to be using the Pseudo-Arachnus Facade. This gives us woven mail when activating our grapple. And we've increased flinch resistance whilst we have woven mail. Grapple can be a powerful tool in Onslaught as we are often given challenges away from the ADU that need to be completed with haste. Often a lone ally may go down whilst protecting the zone by themselves, and you hear that alarm bell ringing out loud. This build will have you back across the map in no time. The Widow Silk aspect will give us a second grapple charge to swing more, but as we create a grapple tangle which lasts for 30 seconds, we'll essentially have infinite grapple over an immediate domain. Ascent will reload our equipped weapon every time we use our grapple, and whilst I'm using the Navigator which can create an anchor point of its own, it severs, free woven mail, and it's got large reserves, never having to reload it is just another tool in the tool chest. Generation will help that cooldown on damage, and with the Whirlwind Maelstrom, I've got damage aplenty to give. These giant Beyblades chew through waves of ads whenever we shoot or throw a tangle. If it's a little too hot to grapple in there, these bad boys will have your back. We have a 10-second cooldown on our tangle production, but because we never have to reload, we can use the Gambler's Dodge to make more reloads regularly, which means plenty of threaded spikes, even though these have a high enough uptime already with their catch and release program. I like warding for the woven mail on orb pickup whenever I'm not skybound. Dealer's choice for your fourth fragment. I like continuity as it strengthens the whole kit and its caboodle. I was partial to some solar LMG action so I could utilize both the solar affinity and the Strand Trinity. My mods were loop set so I could feed emergency reinforcements mod to keep me in the battle longer. Again, pause here for my mods. There are links in the description below. These 3 builds absolutely slayed out in Onslaught. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below of what your favourite Strand weapon is. Make sure to thumb it if you dug it, sub if you're new, and as always, tippy time my damies, what a tie.